Well, if you're a parent of a teenager, you know effective communication with that teen can be a challenge at times. No family conversation or topic comes closer to home than that of underage drinking. Getting through to your teenager can literally be a matter of life and death. Underage drinking is at epidemic proportions, killing over 6,000 people every year. No advocacy organization does more in addressing the issues of underage drinking than MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So we're very privileged today to have with us the national president of MADD, Jan Withers, whose campaign efforts have resulted in federal legislation limiting illegal blood alcohol levels in drivers. She's also recently been named a champion of change by President Obama. Also joining us this morning, Ken Griffith of the NASSP, National Association for Secondary Principals, who's been a teacher, a counselor, and principal at all grade levels for more than 40 years. Good morning to the both of you. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good to see you again, Ken. So, Jan, I want to begin with you this morning because I know that your devotion to helping teenagers, especially related to alcohol abuse, began with your own personal journey. Would you mind sharing that with us this morning?
I sure will. My daughter, Alyssa, was 15 years old when she was spending the night at her best friend's home during spring break. And two senior boys came over and wanted the girls to go out with them. And so when they went out, what the girls didn't know is that the boys had been drinking.
They'd already been drinking.
Already been drinking. And then, on top of that, they continued to drink once they were out. The boys did. So on the way home, of course, the driver was impaired. And as a result, he lost control of the car. As it careened into the air, the right side was ripped off, and Alyssa was thrown into the woods. And she died the next morning.
What is that phone call like?
I never thought I would be the someone whose child was killed by a drunk driver. And so when you do receive that, your world is forever changed. And there's a huge hole, not only in my life, but in my heart as a result. And it never goes away.
And never goes away 20 years later.
20 years later.
You know, Ken, speaking of parents, can parents really make a big difference between teens who choose to drink and teens who don't? Because there's so much peer pressure out there.
I believe that's absolutely true. If you look at curriculums in schools across America at all levels, there's just a huge amount of things that schools do, and all of that is paled by the expectation and the conversation and communication from the parent. That is,
the parent is the teacher, the number one teacher, I think.
And the model.
And the model. You've got that right, absolutely. Jan, I know that MADD has embarked on a campaign and a program that teaches parents life-saving skills. It's called The Power of Parents. How is that program progressing?
The Power of Parents, Your Influence, is a wonderful program that shares information with parents on how to communicate with your children. It is just exceeding our expectations. This year alone, we've shared the message with about 9,000 parents around the country. We note that we're reaching one parent every 30 minutes with this program. It's resonating with parents because it's work. It's very effective in reducing underage drinking by 30%.
30%?
Yes.
And I know that the base approach for what parents can do to help curtail underage drinking starts with what you call the 7 tips. What are those 7 tips?
The 7 tips are basically a summary, a quick go-to, which is in the handbook itself. But it starts with communicating with your children before any problem ever happens.
That's a great point, yeah.
It's really, really important. And what else is extremely important is to make that communication ongoing. Set clear expectations and boundaries for your children, and if they violate those expectations, then the consequences they know will happen. Also be involved in your children's lives and be communicating frequently and ongoing with your children.
Great advice. And I know that April 21st is a big day for MADD. Tell me about that.
April 21st we have set aside as an annual Power Talk 21 Day. And it's a day that the community leaders around the country are coming together to talk with their children about drinking before age 21.
How about those parents who feel like they may not have the communication skills to get through to kids on underage drinking? What can these parents do?
The parents actually can look to the schools, to their school for help, school counselors, administrators, and teachers. And when I was looking for resources for parents, I went to the MADD website. So if you feel uncomfortable with that conversation, go find some help with some resources and some ideas. And I know MADD has them, school counselors have them. They're available.
I have to tell you, I think after listening to Jan's story, I don't think any parent out there should feel uncomfortable What would you like to leave parents with who may be thinking, I may have difficulty with that conversation, or I may be having issues with my child now?
The most powerful message for me was to learn that 3 out of 4 children say that their parents are the #1 influence in their decisions about alcohol. So what I want parents to do is to realize that they want to have communication in a positive manner, but keep that communication up. Do it in an ongoing way.
Great advice and great way to end it. Jan, thank you so much for coming by and sharing your story with us this morning. And Ken, always good to see you. Thank you. And if you want more information on Power Talk 21, or if you'd like MADD's free online handbook, The Power of Parents, simply go to the website madd.org/powerofparents. It's full of valuable information that can save lives and families both.